Hi, my name is Guntur, and we will present to you about linguistic signs and structures.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Nazlah Salim, so I will explain the first topic. The first topic is what language is and what linguistics is. So according to Ferdinand De Saussure in his lectures at the University of Geneva titled Course in General Linguistics, language is a system of signs that express ideas. So it can be said that language is a link between thought and sound and is a means for thought to be expressed as sound. Thought have to become ordered and sound have to be articulated for language to occur. Saussure says that language is really a borderland between thought and sound, where thought and sound combine to provide communication. Language doesn't have ideas or language that exists before the linguistic system, but only conceptual and phonetic differences that have to be excluded from the system. A linguistic system is a series of differences of sound combined with a series of differences of ideas. But the pairing of a certain number of acoustical signs with as many cuts made from the mass of thought engenders a system of values, and the system serves as the effective link between the phonic and psychological elements within each sign. The second topic is what linguistic sign is. A linguistic sign is not a link between a thing and a name, but between a concept and sound image. The sound image is not actually a sound. A sound image is the hearer's psychological impression of a sound, as given to him by the evidence of his sense. This sound image may be called a material element, that it is the representation of our sensory impression. The sound pattern may be distinguished from the other element associated with it in a linguistic sign. This other element is generally of a more abstract kind, which is the concept. For example, trees. When someone sounds the word tree, then what comes to our mind is an image of a tree. The third topic about linguistic sign and general sign. They are two different things. General sign is never completely arbitrary. They are not empty configuration. They show at least a vestige of natural connection between the signal and its signification. For instance, general sign of justice, the scales, could hardly be replaced by a career. On the other hand, linguistic sign may be changeable or unchangeable. Deterrents to linguistic change include the arbitrary nature of signs, the multiplicity of signs necessary to form a language, and the complexity, the structure of language. Factors that promote change in language include individual variation in the use of language and the extent to which language can be influenced by social force.
Signifier and signified are terms in media which refer to semiotic coding. Signifier is the object, the word, the image, or action. Then the signified is the concept behind the object that is being represented. For example, the cross symbol is a signifier on a simple basis because it is two lines crossed over one another, but the Christian faith and the morals that come with it are defined as the signified. However, from Saussure's point of view, following course in General Linguistics, these terms were previously known as concept and sound image. Since our definition or the linguistic sign poses an important question of terminology, Saussure called the combination of a concept and a sound image as sign. To avoid the ambiguity, its notions involving and then designated by three names, each suggesting and opposing the others. It proposed to retain the word sign, to designate the whole, and to replace concept and sound image, respectively, by signified and signified. Lang is a system in that it has a large number of elements, whereby meaning is created in the arrangements of its elements and the consequent relationships between these arranged elements. Then, role is the concrete use of the language, the actual utterance. To understand it simply, let's pretend lang and role is a game of chess. In chess, the set of rules that arrange and control your movements is considered as lang. And then the real move that you've done for your turn is role. When Saussure compares language to a game of chess, he is referring to lang, which is language as an abstract system of rules and functions. He contrasts this with parole, which refers to language as it is used in a particular social context. Lang, like a game of chess, is structural because it exists as a set of rules and functions, but this still leaves endless possibilities to be played out in language as it's actually used. Parole. Synchronic linguistics, also known as descriptive linguistics, is the study of language at any given point in time, usually at present. However, this point in time can also be a specific point in the past. Thus, this branch of linguistics attempts to study the function of language without reference to earlier or later stages. This field analyzes and describes how language is actually used by a group of people in a speech community. Thus, involves analyzing grammar, classification, and arrangement of the features of a language. Diachronic linguistics basically refers to the study of language through different periods in history. Thus, it studies the historical development of language through different periods of time. This branch of linguistics is called diachronic linguistics. Many According to Saussure, discourse is linear in nature because a language chunks are chained together in sequence. He called this sequential relationship as syntagmatic, and he called the linguistic combinations of two or more units that create the chain called syntax. Syntax are defined by their relationships in the sequence of other linguistic units and syntax, where they are a part of discourse. As part of a chain, these groups of words have limited linguistic freedom, especially if they are parts of clusters such as idiomatic expressions. In our minds and outside discourse and syntagmatic relationships, Saussure explains that words acquire different relations because they become connected. They become connected and associated with other words that kinda have similar meaning by themselves, and then they form associative relations, which are not necessarily supported by linearity, but maybe by mnemonics or other means, and limitless associations are possible. To explain this syntagmatic and associative way of viewing language, Saussure provided us a fine example. Once he said that a linguistic unit can be viewed as part of a column. The column is related to the structure of the building that it supports. The arrangement of the blocks of the column represents the syntagmatic relationship. The associative relationship occurs when the column is recognized as Doric and is compared with other architectural periods.